time mushroom foraying or ever going out, welcome, and I'm so excited to have you guys because I too am a very amateur mycologist. I do this mostly as a hobby, and I just really enjoy sharing my love for fungi with everyone because I think it connects us on a weird level. I think we're all very intrigued by the fungi that we find around us, and that curiosity about, you know, what it is and can you consume it, and actually was a food source for many people in earlier, you know, days. And definitely a food source for a lot of our animals out here, which are professional mycologists, I feel like, especially because they know which mushrooms to eat. So you guys will look and you might see, like, on a log or something, some squirrels have been sitting there gobbling up some mushrooms. I typically find bluets and bullets on little stumps where there's little bits and remnants of it. So I think that just be open to what you guys see, jot down notes if you guys want to talk about it later. This reserve is amazing because I have found so much diversity in just small stretches, so you don't really have to walk too far to find stuff. And I think that really has to do with a lot of the conservation efforts that they do here at the reserve. They take really great care of this land, and I want to give it over to some of our representatives here from the reserve if they would like to come talk a little bit about what you guys do. I know Mitch just went in. I'm sorry, Mitch, do you want to wait time? I can keep talking. Yeah, but if you guys want to come up and introduce yourselves, sure, please do that. Sure. Yeah. And if I didn't introduce myself, I'm Wendy. Yes.
My name is Lindsay. I'm a land steward 2 up here at the reserve, and
I'm Eric, land steward 1, so it's kind of more entry position.
yeah, so we spend our days caring for the land as much as possible, trying to make wonderful, trying to help the ecosystem so that it can help you guys find mushrooms and these native plants and organisms that we love so much, trying to just give them all the encouragement that we can. We do a lot of clearing, so there's a lot of California forests get pretty choked out with lack of fire, so we recognize that, and so it's been about 20 years of treatment here, so as you walk through, notice how clear and open the understories are. That's 20 years of work to get that way. We do a lot of prescribed burning and fuels reduction, and then we do a lot of seed collection. We never bring anything into the reserve, but in summertime when it's very hot and we don't want to run a chainsaw all day, we'll go and collect seeds, and we'll save them for days like this where we'll go and reseed where we've done burning. Just trying to get it more back to the way that it would have been with cycles of fire and native plants and treating. You'll notice very much a lack of star thistle around here. So that's many, many years of treatment to get to that point. Mitch can tell you so much more. He just popped in at the best moment. There you go.
Were you stalling for me?
Yes.
Alright, what did you go over?
I said that we do fuels reduction, and we do invasive species movement and reseeding, and talk about this fire a little bit. Yeah.
Cool. So, this is Beacer, part of Chico State. Has anyone here been to the Beacer before? Cool, a few of you. Well, welcome back. If anyone wants to come back, we're open sunrise to sunset for hiking every day of the week. Except for we do have some days that are closed in the spring and fall for hunting. So do check our website before coming out to make sure it's not a closed day. But other than that, there's always one weekend day, pretty much always available for people to come out and hike. So we encourage you guys to come up and do this again on your own sometime. But yeah, so this has been Ecological Reserve since, actually it was acquired in 2 parts, 1999 and 2000, so a little over 20 years at this point. And then we recently expanded down over this ridge over here, going down pretty much all the way to the Chico Airport. We are now the largest continuous ecological reserve in, I believe, California. Wow. At just under 8,000 acres, which we all manage, or do our best. We do a lot of different types of management here. We do, a lot of it's what these guys have been doing today. We have a California conservation crew that works out here as well. They're doing that just over there. You guys might have seen them, which is physical fuels reduction, cutting, and reducing fuels that way. And then pile burning. We'll often do larger broadcast burns. I imagine a lot of you saw the burn we did back in October on the way in. Most years between here, and we partner with all sorts of different partners around this county and even in other counties like Trinity County and Plumas County a lot to do prescribed burning. And we'll each year burn several hundred acres of prescribed fire every year across those counties. In addition to that, we do a whole bunch of invasive species removal and planting of native species. We've, in the last couple weeks, planted probably over 1,000 native grass plants, along with planting seeds, all of which were collected and propagated from seeds on this property. So we do all sorts of different types of restoration. A lot of it to the actual vegetative component, but of course that all helps everything going up and, in your guys' case, down in the food chain to the decomposers. But yeah, so that's a lot of what we do here. If you guys have any questions,
What about the Maidu, and how do you work with them?
So, this is part of the home range of the Mechopda tribe, and they have been here managing this land for longer than we know, time immemorial. And we do still partner very closely with the tribe in their office in Chico, and we do have a tribal liaison full-time position, which I believe is the only position of its kind in the state that helps us work with different tribes. We also work with, since we burn in other counties as well, tribes in those counties. We like to make sure that the land management we do now is cutting edge, but also learning from what was already known in the past. So we definitely partner a lot with them. Yeah.
Do you all ever have volunteers come out and help do the reseeding and whatnot?
Yeah, we do have volunteers. We actually, I believe, have a recreation student. So in the Department of Recreation for Chico State, one of the requirements to graduate is they have to have a job that they work 40 hours a week, like as part of their schoolwork, and have a project in that. And I believe his project is putting together a volunteer program, specifically do things like seeding and trail maintenance and things like that. We do have other volunteer opportunities. Some of them are single settlement on the property. That was the 14-mile house. This is 14-mile house road on the Chico Canyon Road coming out of Chico from Bidwell Mansion. You have the 1 mile, 5 mile, 10 mile. This is 14 mile. 14 mile is usually like the farthest up you could get from Chico in a day, going up the Chico Canyon Road to usually like the Humboldt Silver Mines in Nevada, I believe. I'm not a historian, don't quote me on that. But yeah, so that was the original foundation. This barn is probably one of the next oldest pieces of infrastructure on the property. It's a little over 100 years old. It's actually a registered historical landmark, a historical building. But yeah, so the 14-mile house would have been a stop. You might notice on some of these, on the boards in the barn, and maybe even just walking around over here, you'll find pieces of glass. We think that they had a glass making business to make jars, and if you've ever like mountain biked through Upper Park and ridden through that rocky Tuscan formation, you can imagine you might break a few glass jars driving your wagon up to here to need replacing. There are also a few other European settlement areas throughout the property. They're a little bit more recent, but about the same. And then the flume from up in the logging areas up in Butte Meadows and even a little lower down in Dodge Place to bring lumber down to the Diamond Matchstick factory in